Can you believe we're almost in 2026? It doesn't seem long since 2025 began, and as I get older, the years seem to go by faster and faster. These are my January reading plans. Let me know in the comments, what are your reading plans for January? My name is Jim. This is my channel, books, reading and stuff. I have 8 books on my TBR this month. Last month I had 9 books on my TBR. I read 4 books from the TBR and 2 others. The first book I have on my TBR this month is the Meursault Investigation, which I had on my TBR last month. I didn't get to it. This is by Kamel Daoud, who's an Algerian journalist. This, if you know about Meursault from L'Étranger, it's like a companion piece to L'Étranger by Albert Camus. This is one of my favourite books in French. Meursault in L'Étranger is condemned. He kills an Arab. It's condemned more for not crying at his mother's funeral. But this book is about the Arab he killed. Here the Arab is given a name. In L'Étranger, the Arab was anonymous. Here he's given the name Moussa, and it looks at his life, and it also looks at the difficulties of colonialism in Algeria for the Arab population. The second book on my TBR I didn't get to last month. This is Morchiladze of Old Hearts and Sword. This is a Georgian writer. I haven't read him before. I want to read as many Georgian writers translated into English as possible. One day I'd like to read them in Georgian, but my Georgian is still pretty woeful. This novel, I'm reading from the back. The novel tells a story of chivalry, brotherhood, and a fractured homeland in 19th century Georgia. Bardugo Pavnelli, a young nobleman, is imprisoned for killing a Russian officer. While in jail, he misses a routine visit to the asylum to see his mentally disabled brother, Tedia. Upon his release, Bardugo discovers that Tedia has gone missing. He has wandered off and could be anywhere. Determined to find him, Bardugo sets off westward from Tbilisi on a desperate search. All the while, Russian authorities pursue him across a divided Georgia, the eastern regions under Russian control, the western part of Georgia, in the meantime, leaning towards the Ottomans. The third book I didn't get to in December was Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins-Reid. This was a Goodreads Choice Award winner for historical fiction in 2017. I see Taylor Jenkins-Reid also won this year for atmosphere. I haven't read any Taylor Jenkins-Reid, which is why I want to read this. This is about a fictitious band in the 70s and what happens to them. Let me know in the comments if you've read this book or any Taylor Jenkins-Reid and what you thought of them. And any of the other books that I show, if you've read them, if you have opinions about them, please let me know in the comments. Fourth book is The Voyage of the Beagle by Charles Darwin. I've started this one. I haven't got very far. It's very dense. There's a lot about the flora and fauna of South America here in great detail. I'm more interested in the voyage itself and how it shaped Darwin's thoughts, how from this he formulated his Origin of Species, which will come out a lot later. But it's fascinating. The voyage was in the 1830s, a time of great exploration. I put a poll on my community tab asking what book I should put on my January TBR, and there was a selection of 4 books, and The Night Watchman won by a country mile. It had 65% of the votes, so that will be the one I'm reading. I don't know a lot about it. It's connected to Native American rights and the Chippewa Nation, but I will find out when I start reading it. And my poll for December TBR, the winner was The Crooked Kingdom, which I've started. I'm now on page 148. This is the second in the duology. The first was Six of Crows. It's about this gang of crows or dregs in this fantasy city of Ketterdam, which feels a lot like a sort of 17th century Rotterdam or 18th century Rotterdam, or maybe Amsterdam. It's a lot of fun. This is by Leigh Bardugo, and it's part of the Grisha verse. I've only read Six of Crows apart from this one in the Grisha verse, but it's an interesting fantasy series. I think this is meant as young adults because the protagonists are all very young. They're sort of late teens, but I'm enjoying it so far. I really liked the Six of Crows. This one's a bit slower to start off, but it's quite a large book. This is over 500 pages. It's not a mammoth, but it's longer than my average read, which is about 300 pages. Next on my list, I have the most revered work of Georgian literature in English translation. This is The Knight in the Panther Skin by Shota Rustaveli, which was written in the 12th century. This translation is by Lynn Coffin, which came out in 2015 and won the Saba Prize for translation. She keeps the original quatrain Persian style of verse. I think this may be a bit ambitious for me to read in 1 month, but it's a book I'd like to read. The title in Georgian is Vepkist Kautsani, and Stalin, I hear, knew this whole book off by heart. Stalin studied at the seminary, the theological seminary in Tbilisi, before he became a gangster and a Bolshevik and a leader of the Soviet Union. Wish me luck. And the final book, which I've started and is on my reading plans for January, is The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. This is non-fiction. It tells the story of Stefan Breitweiser, who was an art thief, as the title suggests. He lived in the Alsace region, and in the late 1990s, early 2000s, he stole from a lot of museums and castles around the Alsace region, going into Switzerland, France, Belgium, Germany, to steal pieces for his collection. But unlike most art thieves, he wasn't looking to make a profit. He just wanted to be surrounded by these beautiful objects. When he was finally caught, the estimate of the value of all the objects and art pieces he stole was around 2 billion euros. And Stefan Breitweiser worked as a waiter amongst other jobs, so it's quite a haul for someone. But he was interested in he was an aesthete. He liked beautiful objects. Some say he might have had what's called Stendhal syndrome, where you are really moved by works of art. Stendhal experienced this when he visited Firenze, Florence in Italy, and Stefan Breitweiser experiences this with lots of pieces of art, particularly Flemish art. He particularly liked 17th century Flemish art, but he stole an incredible haul before he was caught. Those are my reading plans for January. Let me know your reading plans in the comments below. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up. This will help with the YouTube algorithm, and I shall see you on the next video. Goodbye.